Hey, good morning, guys. Purpose of this video is just to give a little bit of extra guidance as you are beginning to work on the revisions to your health belief model papers and PMT papers. If you submitted an SDT, you should be getting it soon. PMT folks, y'all will probably have it by end of today. A little bit of guidance though as you think about rewrites. So the first thing to keep in mind is we are grading based off of these instructions. And so we've had a couple of people say, well, I want a rubric. Well, here's your rubric right here, guys. Look at this bulleted list. This is what we're grading on, right? So if it says a maximum of 2,500 words double spaced and you don't submit something that is 2,500 words or fewer and double spaced with at least 2 tables and APA, you're going to lose points, right? Because that's what we're grading on, right? You need to clearly state your priority population and modifiable behavior. And if that's not clear, then you're going to lose points, right? So we're literally just going point by point in this, down this list, and we're grading off of this list. And so if you're trying to figure out what is it that we're grading on, we are looking for every single one of these things. Pay attention to the ors and the ands. For example, begin each paper by identifying your priority population, health concern, and modifiable behavior. If you leave one of those 3 out, you lose points, right? And so pay attention to the instructions. Include both prevalence and incidence data, right? So that's a little bit of guidance for you guys. Be very careful when you are writing your papers that you're attentive to these instructions, because this is what we're grading on, and we are paying attention to every single statement that is included in these instructions. My other recommendation is to use each of these sections as a subheading. That'll help organize the paper, and it also helps us when we're grading to make sure we don't miss something. If you submit one long document without any subheadings, it's easier for us to miss it, right? So this is not a creative writing exercise where you get to use your English lit skills and write creatively, right? This is following the instructions and showing us that you can do everything in the instructions. Let me skip down to the most important piece that nearly everybody lost points on during this first round of papers. And that is down here. Reflecting on what you know about your population, the setting and the environment, and existing interventions, explains which constructs you believe to be most significant to behavior modification among your priority population. Provide a rationale and relevant citations. This is the space where you are transitioning up above from like showing us that you understand the basic information to now you're applying it and you're doing critical thinking. If you don't demonstrate here that you are thinking critically and able to apply the theory to your population behavior, you're going to lose points. If you say that every single construct is equally as important, that suggests a lack of critical thinking from my perspective, unless you have a lot of citations to support why every construct is equally important, right? There's going to be things that are more salient or less salient to your population. The other spot where people are losing points is this next bullet. This again is a place where you need to demonstrate critical thinking. Comment on whether you would use this theory to inform your research. I'm going to read that again. Comment on whether you would use this theory to inform your research. That needs to be more than one throwaway sentence. Yes, I would use this. No, I would not. That's not a comment. A comment demonstrates critical thinking about why this theory may or may not be useful. Similarly, we tell you to list 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses, but we don't just say list it, we say discuss. A bulleted list, guys, is not a discussion. 3 sentences slapped together with no further explanation or discussion about why these strengths or weaknesses might be relevant for intervention development and evaluation for your population and your behavior. If you aren't doing all of those things, your response is insufficient, right? Up until you get to these bullets, what we're asking for is almost like a master's level regurgitation of things that you've read in the book. This is where you are really elevating yourself to more of a doctorate level. Now you're really doing a critique, right? And I want to see critical thinking. So please make sure you do that, all right? In addition to that, obviously edit your work. Make sure you're using APA 7. Stop and edit your citations for APA 7, both in text and at the end. No reason to lose points for that. All right, that is what I wanted to say there. I hope that's helpful as you're doing your rewrites. Be attentive to the feedback we gave you, but also be attentive to these bullets. If you have any questions, reach out to Sam and me. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you Monday.